Hey, Riding Side Saddle, it's Tammy
and Lisa,
and we are back.
We have come to our
summertime location.
Yes, our summertime location. We, during our planning session, sat outside at the restaurant, and every person in every hot rod and or motorcycle was revving it up.
Oh, for sure. I don't know what it is about the downtown area that makes people want to be
obnoxious.
Driving and loud. I don't get it.
So,
because it's a cute little area. I don't know why it's a hot rod spot.
And it isn't. So I remember when I was in high school, I didn't go to high school in Fond du Lac, but we did drive to Fond du Lac.
Oh, yeah, it was your
to
hangout?
the park. Yes. And then there was cruising at that time, and we would go round and round and round. I mean, this was
So you think that's what this is? It's cruising happening?
Well, it's not set up for cruising.
No.
You can't just go round and round. It would be a pain in the ass to cruise through here, but it does feel like that because of all the revving and the loud music. And Tammy would have lost her ever-loving mind tonight.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have worked.
No.
So then we get to our summer location, and there's a noisy helicopter flying overhead. Like, what is happening?
She looked like she was about ready to cry.
Are you kidding?
We have
nowhere to go.
Like, this will be okay. She's like, they're circling. They aren't going away. I'm like,
they're looking for criminals in the marsh, which we're parked right next to.
We are literally parked next to a nature trail. There's a bunny literally outside of my vehicle.
Marsh-ish over there.
There's no criminals in the marsh.
Yeah, there could be. Anyway.
So that's what got us here tonight.
Is.
That's what got us here tonight. She was all full of anxiety. Speaking of anxiety, do you like that segue?
Yeah.
I told you I'd come up with something.
You did. Nice work.
Yeah. So sometimes we plan topics. Other times we don't. Sometimes we're planned topics, but really have no idea how it's going to come out.
Right.
This is one of those times where I said that I wanted to talk about anxiety in a certain, from a certain perspective tonight, because it's been coming up in my life recently. So I picked the topic tonight, and it is the types of stories that you tell yourself inside your head, that inner voice when people don't respond to you. When you have maybe a text message or a telephone call or a preposition out there or something, and it takes somebody a little bit of time to respond. And I'm not talking about the neurotic level, because I can get there, of it's
been 3 minutes. Why haven't you responded?
Yeah, I saw the 3 dots and then you stopped. I'm not to that level. But I will say that recently, for whatever reason, this has been front of mind for me. In fact, it has been so front of mind in multiple situations that I made a definitive decision on Monday to put the brakes on it, because my anxiety and my inner voice have been absolutely working overtime.
It's like a runaway train.
It 100% is a runaway train. I tell myself a lot of stories, and part of me then you can tell yourself 100 stories, and maybe 25 of them might be remotely possible. The other 75 are that's, I can probably get rid of that. But then the 25% of that, you're like, oh my God, well, what if this is true? And then it continues and it continues, and it
just snowballs.
It is a nightmare on the inside of my head when that type of thing happens. And I've just been, for whatever reason, feeling really sensitive about it recently, to the degree that even very innocent things start running away.
Oh.
Like it starts running away on me.
Yeah.
And I start questioning things that are like really ridiculous
And you
to
know
question.
that it is nothing, but your anxiety is so high that you just have to have someone tell you
It's
nothing.
It's the overthinking. Like I'm not traditionally that type of a person. But it is, I mean, I am a little bit of an anxious person, but not to this level, and not about things often that, like, really, Lisa, like, come on, calm your ass down. This does not need to be this way. Like, I can usually curb it. But lately, no.
Is it because it's happening so often, or because it is like the subject is too sensitive, or both maybe?
So I have been dealing with this situation with somebody close to me. And I have been dealing with it in for kind of an extended period of time, and I have not dealt with it.
So it's some unfinished business.
It's unfinished business. It's happening repetitively with this particular person. I don't know how to approach it, and I'm having difficulty with it. So then, like, other people will haphazardly stumble across, like, in the most innocent way, and I am like hot red alert, like, oh my God, now this is happening with more than one person. I don't know what I'm doing. What's wrong? Do you
They're
know
mad at me too?
Yes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're reading into everything.
I feel so neurotic about it.
Oh gosh.
It's like I recognize that it is an unhealthy place for me to be.
Yeah. We have had many episodes about perimenopause.
Yeah.
One of the symptoms of that is increased anxiety.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. In fact,
lose a uterus, increase anxiety. Yay!
Yeah. I'm not sure that's an even trade. I don't know.
No, it's not.
Even so much, like, it can cause panic attacks.
Yeah.
Which I have. I don't generally have panic attacks, but I do feel like there have been 2 times where I have been on the verge of them. One time I was going somewhere with a bunch of people, and I usually sit in the back because I have short legs and I don't need all the leg room. I couldn't. Like, they put the seat up. It was a 3rd row seat.
Yeah.
They put the middle seat up, and I would get out. Let me out right now. I completely freaked out. I've had that happen, same sort of thing in the car, but not to that degree.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, I'm not really comfortable. I don't like being back here. I feel kind of trapped. I don't like that. And after it happened, and I was like, get me out right now, that I realized that is a symptom of perimenopause. So, what you're dealing with is...
I didn't know that.
Right. So I think I'm sharing that with you because so that you don't feel like you've just gone bonkers. That while whatever is happening might, like, I'm not saying that isn't a big issue, but there may be another piece to this.
Well, thank you for that perspective. I don't disagree with that. I have been, since my hysterectomy, I have been managing additional symptoms. Some of them are ebbing and flowing and bubbling up and calming down. So that isn't outside the realm of possible. I think that, to your point, that might be an add-on if it is.
I think it might be. Right.
Because I've had issues with the root issue for longer than I have had when I had a uterus.
Right. I'm not at all trying to minimize. I get it. It sounded like you were saying that you feel like it's your anxiety about this is getting worse.
It is ramping up.
Right. And it may, in part, be something more organic.
Yeah. So that's actually not where I thought you were going when you started talking about previous episodes, because in relation to this issue, I've been thinking about previous episodes that we've had, and I don't remember what season it was. I'm not sure, 2 or 3, but we were talking about the difference between trauma response and intuition,
Right.
or
Empathy.
like being able to feel that empathic, something's going on here.
Sure.
And I had shared stories about, Scott and I, and realized that although I might be empathic to a certain degree, I also have some codependency things that
Sure.
I didn't even realize it when we were talking about it on the episode, but after the fact, I was like, oh, damn, girl, like that's something you need to work on. So this kind of falls in line with some of that, because this issue that I've been experiencing with somebody close to me has been relatively covert. It hasn't been overt.
Yeah.
And it has been going on for an extended period of time, like last summer. So it makes me feel like, am I exaggerating this? Am I picking things apart that aren't
sensing things that aren't
anything?
there? Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So
am I looking for a reason to be concerned?
And it fucking drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So even though like perimenopause things have been like at the top recently because of the hysterectomy, I also feel like, I'm done fucking doing this. Like, we're coming up on a year of me not really understanding. Holy hell.
Right. What's going on?
Yes. What is going on? Like, I'm picking up on these signals and these covert types of things, but nobody's talking about it, and I can't really put my finger on it exactly.
Yep.
And now I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. So even the person who inadvertently, unintentionally, like stepped in this weird trigger that I have now,
when they weren't at all meaning anything, none covert or otherwise,
and I feel so bad because I was like, so listen, I'm in this weird space right now where I'm deciding to communicate when I have anxiety, as opposed to sit with it and let it dwell and
the stories start running,
just like insane weird things,
right?
And this poor person, they were like, what in the actual fuck? You're okay. I'm okay. Have a good day.
Nice day. Is that really what they said?
Well, I mean, it could have been. It was close. It was close.
That's pretty clever, actually. I like that.
Well, that came out of my brain, but that is the that's in essence what happened.
All
yes. Right. They handled it very, very lovely, but I can imagine what played out behind the scenes was like, oh wow,
what is going on with Lisa?
Wow. That's a lot today. But they were very kind and reassured me, and that was it. Right. Then my brain could 100% stop on it and be like, see, like this is really not that big of a deal. It's really not anything.
Right.
But anxiety, it churns and it churns.
It does.
And it takes over.
I was just going to say that. And it takes you to a whole place that you have, like, you don't intend to be there, and all of a sudden you're there and you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. And when, like, in the last few weeks, I have been like, okay, you're going to stop thinking about this. You're going to put your mind elsewhere because this is ridiculous and you're spending far too much of your energy and yourself, and you're getting yourself all worked up, and it is for literally nothing. So stop doing it. but it doesn't work that way. Like I can't just turn it
because
off
it's unfinished business
in that place.
Right.
But even when I'm like, this is stupid, stop. Like I recognize what I'm doing. I'm observing the overthinking and the continual like devotion of my brain, my energy, my thoughts. It needs to stop. Even if it were finished business, like there's too much of me being invested in this.
Right.
Please stop.
Right. It's like intrusive thoughts and perseverating, like where you just, it's the same thought over and over.
Yes.
You get stuck. The record's stuck.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It sucks because it like literally changes your whole mood. Like where you're at entirely.
For sure. Years ago, I had gone to see a therapist, and a lot of that sort of stuff was happening, and it was sucking the life out of me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was replaying arguments I had with people from 20 years ago, and I may have shared this on an episode, I'm not sure. She had me picture a place where I feel good.
Mm-hmm.
In your mind's eye, go to that place. Where is it? And how do you feel when you're in that place? And what does it look like? And what does it smell like? That is how I stop those sorts of thoughts.
That's interesting.
So every time I start having those conversations about,
is it surrounded
like
by motorcycles
that
and
won't stop?
dump trucks and race cars? Is that your favorite spot?
Yeah.
Makes you feel good. What does it smell like to be there?
That's not it at all.
Exhaust?
Diesel fuel? No. That is not my place at all. It was and continues to be a tool that I use. It's so effective because you can only have one thought at a time.
Yeah.
So while your brain is racing with the, what did I say? What did I do? What should I do? What could I do? Why are they mad? They can't be mad. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are. When you have have this place in your pocket that you can pull out whenever you need it, you can't think about all of those other things because you can only have one thought at a time. My favorite place, what does it smell like? How do I feel when I'm there? And you just keep running through that until you're no longer focused on, are they mad? Are they not mad? Why are they mad? I'm tired of this. I'm playing arguments that you could or should or maybe did have but didn't finish.
Preparing with fake arguments.
Yes, for sure. Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
That does feel really good. Actually, I think I'm going to employ that for myself. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. It really, I use it all the time. Not as much as I used to because I just don't need to. But when I do need to, that's where I go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. Through this process, I am also recalling a conversation that I had with Elizabeth. It wasn't a great conversation. It was kind of in the throes of, the stuff that we had dealt with, my daughter Elizabeth and I, in the last year and a half or so. And we were in a bit of an argument at the time. And she didn't say it in the most loving way. But I have come to think about a comment that she had made to me at that time, and realized how much truth there is that I didn't know before. So we were arguing, and she had said that she had been talking to her therapist about our relationship and a particular issue that we were going through. And she's like, "Mom, you have anxiety too, right?" And we were arguing. So of course I'm like, "The hell I do!" And I really, yeah. And it's been several months since then. But I have let that settle inside of me. She goes, "My therapist says you have anxiety." I'm like, fuck. And at first, like I said, I
She
absolutely
doesn't know me.
Right. I absolutely refused to even let it in, but I've let it soak in some in the last few months and have had follow-up conversations with Liz about it. And I mean, everybody, I think, probably has
that's true.
different levels of anxiety at
Sure.
different points of their life. You know, it's high, it's low. It depends on situations and scenarios that you're dealing with at the time, the levels of stress.
Sure.
But even in my best place, I'm not sure that she's wrong.
Yeah.
If I can remove all of my, you know, we were in an argument and you said that to be a jerk and
Right.
you know, all of those things, I'm really not sure that she's wrong. And it feeds into this whole intrusive thought, not knowing what's happening. It feels very out of control for me. Like I don't know what's going on. And that's a very scary place for me.
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah.
So then my mind starts to work really hard to try to figure out what is the piece that I don't know.
Well, when they're not communicating, you're just left to guess.
Right.
So that's not
And
fair.
that's a free-for-all.
That's not fair. You can just wait and wonder.
Forever.
That's not fair at all.
Right.
That's toxic.
Yeah.
And I realize that, I don't know, most of us, I think I would say, did not learn how to communicate. I grew up in a house where silent treatment was
That's a real
a
thing.
regular thing.
Yeah.
And you did just have to guess. Figure it out. Yeah, this nature trail business, Lisa, it's distracting. Now we've got somebody walking their dog on the phone with, I don't know, beats on their ears. I don't know what's going on over there.
Beets?
Yeah, like the, you know,
Like
beets,
the red vegetables?
No, Lisa, you're not cool at all.
That's so awkward.
That's what those things are called. Yeah.
Okay.
Like headphones, the beats.
Oh, I didn't know. That's a slang term?
I think they're actually called that. I don't think
is
it's
that like-
slang. It's like AirPods, but they're headphones.
Seriously, I am so old. I have never heard of that.
I think that is actually what they're called.
I really doubted that he had red vegetables on his ears,
They were
but
not red vegetables. He had on some sort of contraption.
okay.
I don't
Wow.
know if he was talking on the phone through these headphones.
Well, he looked like he was 87, so
Or if
clearly
he
he's
was-
cooler than me.
Clearly. He may have been listening to a radio. There was an antenna. I'm not sure what he was doing. Anyway.
He was yelling at his dog.
Well, he was taking a shortcut through the nature trail. Yeah. We just cannot find a good quiet spot anymore.
No, we can't. It's almost humorous.
It's distracting. I don't even remember what we were talking about
Damn it.
now.
Intrusive.
It was probably good too.
Intrusive some bitch.
Oh yeah, and how they don't tell you, like they don't communicate, so they just leave you to wait and wonder, and how toxic that is, and how lots of us did not learn how to communicate when you're upset.
Yes.
Hey, do you have a minute? I just need to talk to you about something. People don't say that.
No.
They just zip it
Right.
and back off, and you're like, is everything okay?
Zip
Yep.
it or blow up.
Those are really the two options,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It is absolutely that way.
Yeah.
And it feels
I'm more
like,
apt to zip it and just be like, yep, I'm not doing that anymore.
I think it really depends as to where I'm at with things, honestly, and probably how triggered I am in the moment. You know, we talk a lot about reaction versus response. And we've talked 1,000 times about different relationships
Sure.
and, you know, how that might invoke a different reaction.
Sure.
So I'm a mixed bag.
I am too. So if it is somebody that I'm not overly invested in,
Right.
I'm
Then
likely
I'm
to
just-
zip it and
I'm
go
done.
away.
Right.
Right. If it is like my husband, for instance.
Right.
Oh, we're going to talk.
Yes, sir, we are.
And I've been much better about not setting traps. also, I'm happy to report.
That's awesome.
I haven't done that in some time. When I start to think, well, I'll just address it next time. No, I won't. Now is the next time.
Yeah, good for you.
You're gonna hear about it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not addressing things in the moment. It seriously fucks you up. Traps or not, right?
It does.
Otherwise, you're also holding baggage and
a lot of resentment, a lot of bitterness,
anxiety.
Yes,
it's just really hard. It's really hard
for me anyway. I start looking at that person like everything you do is an affront to me. Yeah. You're doing it on purpose. You're doing it again. Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Which is absolutely what's happening in my situation too, because I don't know what's going on. Everything is up for question.
Yes,
right. Like, well, why was that, or how was this, or that felt weird, or here's another thing that it's just not a healthy place.
It isn't
at all.
And having those hard conversations is just that.
Yeah,
hard.
It's really hard.
And you both have to want to have the conversation.
Correct.
Hard or not.
Right.
So if you're not going to both bring all your cards and show them on the table,
it's not.
Then what's the point?
Right. It's not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
That's tricky.
So I've chosen to say, I'm done doing this. And I started with like the little innocent person who just happened to like stumble by and get stuck. Literally has no idea why I'm being so crazy. But I figured, well, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, right. Where I really couldn't have done anything wrong. Mostly. I couldn't have hurt somebody's feelings.
Here's a practice scenario.
Let's see how this goes.
Right. And that went fine.
Okay. All right.
So, but the point is that, through writing Side Saddle, if I'm being entirely honest, I have learned a lot about myself and have chosen to do things differently.
Yep.
And I need to add this to the list. I need to add this to the list of I am going to communicate. I am going to extend myself outwardly to be able to clear this up when I see that, when I think that things aren't right.
There's an undercurrent and I don't understand why it's there.
Yeah.
Or what it even is.
And if it isn't an undercurrent and I'm just being crazy,
okay, then
fine. If anxiety has just taken me away, then that's a good piece of information to have.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
If, though, there is things going on and, like, nobody is addressing it, then I guess I'm going to be the one.
That's a big load to carry, too.
I can't do it
no one else
way
is
anymore.
Doing it, so it has to be you.
Yeah, I can't do it that way anymore.
Right,
I just can't. I can't. I don't feel good in that.
No.
I've worked really hard to be able to find my space to say, damn it, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to hold my own space.
To say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I refuse to step back. I refuse to step back into the place where I don't have a voice.
Ooh,
because
that's big.
Because I have two choices here. Either I can continue to let things happen and not say anything and let it drive me crazy and perhaps really negatively impact this relationship, which is what it's doing.
Right.
Or I can address it. And if I address it and, it ends up that we can't see eye to eye, well, okay.
That's good information to have too.
I'd prefer to know that and have a reason for it than walk away from a really important relationship and not understand
what happened,
what exactly happened, or if I was like being carried away with anxiety.
Right.
Do you know?
I do know what you mean.
There's just so many like variables to this.
It's trying to salvage a relationship. Again, both people have to be in.
Yes.
But somebody has to start the conversation.
Right.
And not everybody has the skill set to be the one to start it.
Well, So I did that this week. I started the conversation, and the person that I was speaking with said, "You know what? I'm afraid of conflict. I don't do well in this situation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I have hurt your feelings. There are some things that we need to talk about, but it takes a lot for me to do that, to like step up and have those conversations. So thank you for reaching out to me."
Wow. That's really big.
It was really big. I mean, we haven't
Sounds
still
like it's
had
been
the actual
bothering this person too.
I guess. I guess. We haven't had the actual conversation yet. We agreed to sit down and have a conversation, and
that's a good start.
You know, this isn't a combative type of situation. It's bearing yourself. It's bearing your soul. It's being very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And hopefully coming out better.
Right.
But if I hadn't said, I'm not doing this to myself anymore, and I just carried along.
Or you just walked away.
Or I just walked away, which was a sliver away for me.
Yeah.
Like I have to do something. So these are my choices. Either I can carry along, which is not working at all because I'm driving myself insane. I can walk away and say, fuck you. I'm not putting up with this bullshit. Or I can confront it.
So you chose door number 3.
I chose door number 3 because this person's important to me.
Right.
And it would hurt my heart for a real long time to walk away and
yeah, that wouldn't feel good.
And wonder.
Again, unfinished business.
Right.
So now you're both going to just sit in your respective corners and wait and wonder.
Yeah.
That feels yucky.
It does feel yucky. And if we can't see eye to eye after a conversation, and the ultimate
or at least
result,
agree to disagree, because you're not always going to come to a place where you agree.
And yes, true, and we probably won't agree. But I think if worse comes to worse, right? We sit down, we have this conversation. It does not go well, right? Like let's just say it isn't an agree to disagree, or I can see a different perspective, but I don't agree with it, right? Like it doesn't go out that way, and it goes rogue, and we choose to say, well,
I guess I'm walking away then.
This relationship can't stay this way. At least I fucking know.
Right. Again, it's good information.
And it was a deliberate choice then.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all good information to have. You can't make sound decisions when you don't have enough information.
It's been rough.
Yeah.
That internal cycle bullshit has been rough.
Yeah. I don't know if it is the stars are in alignment, but you are the third person I've talked to who is having conversations like that.
Really?
Yes. Where they are at a crossroads and I might just be done.
Yeah. It can't stay like this.
Right. That. It can't stay like this.
Right.
And having to have hard conversations when, I don't know anybody who really likes conflict.
No.
But it can't stay this way.
Right.
And they've been masking and masking on top of masking, hoping it would just fix itself, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You're the third person in the last week or 10 days that I've talked to who is having those very same conversations.
I honestly feel like it's an evolution of myself. Really. Like, yes, I want to address things. I want to be able to see different perspectives throughout this conversation. I want to make a relationship that I cherish healthier. And those are all of the outward things that I want. But it is as important for me because it is an evolution of something that I'm trying to build in me. Do you know?
Standing in your space.
Standing in my space.
Using your voice.
Yes. Using my voice.
Taking up space.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That.
Being big.
Yes, that. So, I mean, anxiety, yes. Has it been driving me insane? It has. But I'm grateful for it.
It is an opportunity for growth
Mm-hmm.
for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal.
It is.
I'm proud of you
Thanks.
for reaching out. I'm proud of the other person for being receptive too. It's not
Me
easy.
too. No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
No, and not everybody does it, right? Not everybody
not
even
everybody
takes
can.
takes the baton.
Right. Right. And some people, they just need to hang on to that hurt like it's their oxygen, and that's where they're going to stay.
Right, like a victim mentality.
Absolutely.
Right. What you did.
You hurt
will
me,
never...
and I am never going to talk to you ever again.
Right.
Even though I never told you that what you did was hurtful, or maybe I did, but I'm never going to let it go.
Right.
So,
right.
piss off.
You are a very bad person, and
Right.
that's it.
Right.
And recognize, I fully recognize that there's a whole gamut of different things that
Sure.
people experience, and very similar to, when we talk about other topics. I'm not talking about the most extreme things here.
Nope.
I am talking about regular
For sure.
relationship stuff.
I think, again, that you're both being very brave, and I'm proud of both of you for coming to the table.
Thanks. I'll perhaps have a part 2.
Yeah. if you are so inclined.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know it's very
We'll see how
private,
it
so
goes.
it's hard to let that out, but
Yeah.
a follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we figured that I'm not the only one who
No,
goes
you're not.
through
Clearly
these
you're not.
cycles and deals with this type of thing.
Absolutely.
So we figured we'd talk a little bit about it tonight.
Right. I think it was a good topic. It's a hard one.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of hard ones, are we going to be doing our book club anytime soon?
I think we should.
It's coming right up
What season are
again.
we on? I mean, what episode are we on? Is this 7?
7. Oh, we're not there
We're
yet.
not
are
quite
we?
there. No.
Well, maybe we should start
This
reading
season,
it.
We should start reading it. This season seems to be extra long.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I think because we've both been just running ragged. It's just, I don't know what happened to time. It's just on overdrive. So it's on supersonic speed. There just doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to do all the things
Agree.
that need doing. So
Well-
I think that's why this feels like we're really squeezing it in.
Well, we are really squeezing it in.
Yeah.
And in part, it's because we usually have a couple in the can.
Yeah, and we haven't.
And we don't.
No.
Like we are.
We
by
did for like a week, and then it was gone.
We are running on empty.
Yeah, we're on fumes.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Todd.
Right, because if we're on fumes, that means he's under the gun.
Yes.
So he's probably has less fumes left than we do. Yeah,
He's probably thinking it's a long season too.
he probably is.
These girls need to get their shit together.
Maybe we should only have 6 episodes a season. That's maybe what he's thinking.
Hmm.
I have no idea.
Well.
Totally. Now here I am making up stories, right?
Maybe that's what you're thinking.
Maybe I'm projecting and
Maybe
saying that's what
season
Todd is
7.
thinking.
Maybe season 7 needs to have 7 episodes. Goodbye.
Well, we could read that book. We have a lot of chapters to read.
All right, we'll figure that out.
It's got to be soon because
Yes.
we're going to run out of
I know.
time
I
again
know.
with the time thing.
We'll figure it out.
Because I suspect we're going to need more than 1 episode for some of these chapters again. So we might need to allow at least 2 for each chapter.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, here we are planning and brainstorming right on our
Right on the
our
episode.
but that's how we roll. So it happens when it happens.
We should wrap this up
We
then.
should.
All right.
All right, Todd. Thank you so much.
For so many, many, many reasons. Thank you so much.
Maybe we can get Todd on one more time. Not
I
anymore.
Right?
Not anymore.
Right,
We wrecked it.
I keep bringing that up. She kicked an ice cube tonight.
I did kick an ice cube at the restaurant. All of a sudden, it was right there. I kicked it. I did not kick it under the fridge. However, I did kick it. I didn't pick it up either. Just left it there to melt. Anyway, if you are interested in doing a podcast, please reach out to Mind Garden Media. Todd is fantastic. He will help you through all of the planning and the gazillion questions and give you a little coaching and a little cheerleading along the way too. Yep, Mind Garden Media. They're on Facebook. You can find them there. That'd probably be the easiest way. Someone else is walking their dog, scared the bejeebas out of Lisa.
The dog is walking the person.
Yeah, for sure.
Really what's going on.
Yeah.
And
through the marsh, because there's a criminal hiding in there. Anyway.
They're police dogs.
They're training.
And thank you to our listeners.
Always thank you to our listeners.
Who listen to us babble on sometimes
Yep.
and do planning sessions during the actual episode.
Right.
But know that we have good stuff to share. And you always come back and listen in. So we appreciate you.
We sure do.
All right.
Stay tuned till next time.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Toodaloo.